What's up, y'all? This is your girl Amanda, and we are back with new episodes of Mandy's Quick Reviews. I'm back with the first episode of Mandy's Quick Reviews with the book review of Only Say Nice Things. Now, this is a memoir by the widow of Hugh Hefner. Her name is Crystal Hefner. And if you guys don't remember her, she was on the final season of Girls Next Door. And if y'all know, you're thinking, I don't remember a final season of Girls Next Door. Well, it didn't gain a lot of traction like the previous seasons with Holly, Bridget, and Kendra. So I don't blame you if you don't remember. It wasn't that good. I only caught like a few episodes of it growing up. So let's get into it. So this book was released. It was very recently released in January of 2024. So I didn't get my copy until February of 2024, and it took me about 4 weeks to finish it because I have a hectic schedule, and not only that, it was kind of long, not very thick and long like a Frank Sinatra memoir, but it is pretty lengthy, a lot of information. Sometimes I had to go back and reread some parts of it. And it was published by Grand Central Publishing. They're probably a smaller publishing company than like Simon and Schuster and all that stuff, but that's who published the book. This book is about the life of Crystal Hefner, as she discusses her life before the Playboy Mansion when she was growing up with her family, during the Playboy Mansion, and post Playboy Mansion. Now, do I recommend this book? Yes, I do, because it's a lot of teachable things in here. It exposes what Playboy was really like and what was going on behind the scenes of Girls Next Door. It was not pretty, and people need to have that information or have that brought to their attention, because growing up, if we look on TV, we see Hugh Hefner in the Playboy Mansion, it's always like it's glamorized, and basically Crystal in her book says it was not glamorous at all. So, some of the discoveries I had when I do review books, I call these discoveries. Her early life. When I look at Crystal, I always think of a California girl, but basically she built that image herself. She was born in the U.S., but she was kind of raised in the United Kingdom, and then she came back to San Diego, so that was most of her life there. How she got into the mansion, basically she talked about how she was chosen at a party through Hugh Hefner, and the first night she spent with him, if you know what I mean, which was kind of not graphic but very scary to read. How she got engaged. Now this part is crazy. She was proposed to, but she didn't say yes or no, but then boom, they got married. So the whole marriage was kind of forced, which is kind of sad. So, that's crazy though. The marriage was forced and all that stuff. She really didn't want to marry him. But sometimes it's like, again, Hollywood, they make things look like what it's not. And she married him. So, her wedding. Do you guys remember when it was all over the news that she ran away? And she explained why, and then she got into a relationship with like Dr. Phil's son, and she got close with the family, but she just grew unhappy. And in the way the details, because I really don't want to spoil the whole book, the way she described it was insane. So she talked about that and her relationship with Jordan McGraw, how Jordan basically like love bombed her, which was messed up. I also remember her coming out saying she had Lyme disease. The only reason why Lyme disease was discussed so heavily is because if you guys remember Yolanda Hadid from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, she came out and said she had Lyme disease. So I guess that was an opening for Crystal to... I mean, she didn't mention this in the book, but this is just what I think. That she opened the door, I guess, to discuss it. But she was sick around the same time that Hugh Hefner was starting to demise physically and internally. And so she discussed that. And she talked about his final days and how he was just so sick and he wanted to die at home and how she had to take care of him. I mean, hey, till death do us part, you know. So she went to that. And she also went into her life post Playboy. She dated, but she didn't really have like such a serious relationship or anything from what I took from the book. She moved, she traveled, she got property and all that stuff. So this book kind of had a happy ending. She moved on with her life. She's doing very well. You can also listen to her podcast. It's called Only Say Nice Things, where she breaks down the book chapter by chapter. And even though I finished the book, I still listen to the podcast because sometimes she does share extra tidbits of information that was not in the book. So you guys can listen to that. What I liked was that there were similarities between Crystal and I. Crystal seems to be a very nice girl who just went through a lot of stuff in relationships. So did I. Um, I've dated men that didn't treat me well. I've dated men that love bomb and then just, fell off at the end. So I understand where she was coming from. Her raw honesty, of course, it's a memoir. You cannot lie on a memoir. So she was very honest and detailed on everything. I think that she didn't bash Hef on a level of Holly Madison. And what I mean by that is like Holly has a podcast with Bridget, the other girlfriend. And when I listen to that podcast, I'm a fan, but sometimes I feel like they're bashing him. Of course, he didn't do right by them, if you will, but it's just jabs every like 5 minutes, what I think. But Crystal didn't do that. I think like she didn't jab him every 5 minutes, so that's cool. And lastly, the little girl, there was a little girl who wrote a letter to Hef. She was 11 years old at the time. She wanted to get into Playboy, and she asked him how. And at the end, Crystal basically gave her advice of don't lose yourself, don't, just don't. Like, don't do it. You know what I mean? And she said it in such a classy way that I really, really liked. And if I was asked some advice to get into something that I got into and it kind of alternated my life, I would give the same advice, but not in a Playboy way, but just like any like drugs, alcohol, and stuff like that. So I really like that she gave that advice. I had not a lot of dislikes in this book. This book was really, really good. I forgot to write down Mandy stars, but I do give it a 5 out of 5. So if you don't have your copy, you can get it at any bookstore, Amazon, all that stuff, and support Crystal because I learned so much of her because I only knew a little bit about her from the final season of Girls Next Door, sorry. And yeah, like just support her. She seems like a great person. So thank y'all so much for listening. Like, share, subscribe, and I will see y'all soon.